All right, is the mic on? Audio is on. Okay, I'm going to have you start on your backs and just take a little bit of time getting settled in. So feel yourself grounded. Start to acclimate to your back body. And then maybe stretch like you just woke up. Maybe tap your feet forward and back. Give yourself a little jostle. Sometimes that can feel nice, and if that's too weird, you can just make any movements that feel good. I have a tickle in my throat, so hopefully I'm not coughing the whole time. And then when you're ready, take your knees to bend. Let's see if I can get my words first. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open out. So supine bound angle, Supta Baddha Konasana. And you can rock your hips side to side. Just let your hip joints open out and your belly soften. And your hands can be wherever they feel good. So on your belly, or at the floor, or maybe to clasp overhead. And then when you feel settled in, you can find your way into stillness. Let your breath settle. Take a deep breath in, all the way down to your lower belly, and let it out. Let yourself arrive. And take another inhale. Big breath out. And do that one more time. And if it feels okay, close your eyes and just find that space of release, surrender. And then take your hands to the space just between the crease of your hip and your upper leg, and just give it a little push. Sometimes you can get a little, almost traction for your lower back. Just create some space. You might even feel your spine adjust, which can be nice. And then soften that. Take your knees all the way back up, and then walk your feet out to the side. So your feet are at the width of your mat, and let your knees fall into each other. Knock knee pose. And you can sway your hips from side to side. Let your knees rock, windshield wiper the legs. Or stay in stillness if that feels good. And then slowly hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Massage your back body. You can stay side to side, or if it feels good, you can take your hands to your knees and work your knees in circles. Maybe 3 or 4 times in one direction, and then always reverse in the opposite direction. Feel balanced. And then hug your knees in, give them a good squeeze. Take your hands to your shins, forehead to the tops of your knees, curl into a little ball. And then soften that, let your head release all the way back down to the ground. Open your arms wide. And then slowly start to bring your knees all the way over to the right. Just a gentle twist, knees together. Let your shoulders stay even on the ground. And then notice what happens with each breath. So as you inhale, feel lengthened. And then as you exhale, maybe you go a little bit deeper. Find that space. You can even take your right hand to the top of the left knee. Guide the knee down. Feel that stretch in the lower back, side waist. One more breath. Exhale. Open the arms wide again. And then lead one knee at a time. Come back in through neutral. Let the knees stack over your hips. And then exhale, both knees over to the left. Twist to the opposite side. And it might feel different. Left to right. And just be with that. And if the knees don't connect, if you feel like you're hovering, that's okay. Just let gravity do its job. Make sure that right shoulder is anchored down onto the earth, and you can take your eye gaze over that right hand. Maybe your left hand guides your right knee down. Follow that breath again. So every inhale, feel like you're gathering the tension that you might be holding. And then every exhale, feel it release. Feel yourself settle a little bit more into that shape. Maybe close your eyes. One more breath. On your next inhale, one knee at a time comes back through center. Stack knees right over hips, and then hug your knees into your chest. Curl into a little ball again. And then touch the knees down, or touch the feet down. My brain's not working today. Cross your right ankle to your left knee. Flex your foot. And just pause here in this figure 4 prep. Press that right knee away. So you can even take your right hand to your knee and press it away. And just notice how that feels. Right foot is active. Nice flex. And then if you feel like you have space, you can start to pick up that left foot. Catch the back of your knee, your left knee, hug it in. And just be sure that the right knee isn't trying to connect with your shoulder. Keep it pressing away. Send your breath right into the sensation in that hip. So as you inhale, you're gathering tension. And exhale, release it out. Take one more like that. And then slowly touch that left foot down. You're crossing your right knee to your left, like you're sitting at a table. And then you're twisting to the left. And then open that right arm out. And you can adjust a little bit through the upper body so that the shoulders connect evenly. And you can just let the knee be where it feels most comfortable. You can even bring something underneath that knee if you want, a blanket or a pillow. Take one more breath. Exhale, go as deep as you can, without strain, just like gravity work. And then uncross the legs. Come back through neutral, hug your knees in, rock from side to side. Then it's your right foot that touches down. Left ankle crosses. Pause here, flex your left foot, press the knee away. You can even take your hand to your foot. Yeah, hand to your knee. It's going to be like this today. Feel that hip opening. Keep that active leg, pressing the knee away and the foot flexed, and then pick up that right leg. Catch behind the knee. Find your figure four stretch. Both feet are flexed. Active press of that left knee away from your shoulder. Bring your breath right into that hip. Imagine your breath is a massage for your muscles. When you're ready, touch that right foot down. Connect the knees so the left leg crosses over like you're sitting in a chair. And then guide yourself into that twist to the right. Left arm reaches out like a wing. Keep that left shoulder connected to the earth. And your eye gaze can be to that left hand or even just to the ceiling. Just notice if this side feels different. And without judgment. Not saying, oh, it feels better, it feels worse. Just, it feels different. Isn't that curious? And then come back into your breath. And then just unwind the legs. Come back into that neutral, knees to chest, rock from side to side, massage your spine. Then set your feet down. And just take a gentle bridge counter movement. So set the heels right underneath your knees. Brush your heels with your fingertips and press the hips to the ceiling. Let it be really gentle, just stretching the front side of the body. No other purpose. And then one vertebra at a time, come all the way back down. Take your hands to the backs of your knees as you bring your knees into your chest and just rock up into a seated position. Cross your ankles and come forward. So you're coming into your table. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. You know the way. Roll the elbows under, let the heart come forward. How about if I turn this way so I can actually interact with you? Belly button draws in, support your spine, and then let your heart come forward. Tailbone lift. We're doing a really long, slow intro today. I hope that's okay. Just some slow, controlled movements, connecting breath. So you're actively using your hands at the floor to get the most out of this movement. And you can stay in this linear shape, or if it feels good, you can start to move in any direction. Just wherever you need it. Maybe close your eyes and explore. Come back to stillness. Take a moment, sink your hips to your heels, fingertips walk toward the top of your mat. Lengthen through your spine. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, walk your hands over to the right. Take your left hand, connect to the top of your right hand, and let that left hip pull in the opposite direction. So feel that stretch. You might feel it in a few different places. I usually feel this one kind of up near my armpit, maybe down the side body, into your lats, into your hip, your sacrum, depending on how tight you are, how much manual labor you did this week. Back to center, inhale. All the way over to the left. Right hand connects to the top. Sink right hip down, opposite direction. And just notice, does this side feel different? Without judgment. Just go, this feels different. Or this feels exactly the same. Because why not? Walk your hands all the way back. And then slowly, like a wave, roll your spine back into table. Set your strong foundation again. Support your spine. Belly button to spine. Long breath in. Feel the crown of your head lengthening away from your tailbone. And then right leg reaches back. Equal weight in both hands. Roll your ankle, stretch your toes. Maybe just practice actively pressing into the fingertips and roll the elbows under. Feel that stability. And then flex your foot and cross your leg all the way over to the left. Big breath in as you lengthen, and then exhale. C-shape your spine, ear toward hip. Maybe take a peek at your right toes. Back to center, leg extends long, and then exhale all the way down. Right away to the other side. Left leg extends out. Press evenly through both hands. Yeah, Roll the ankle, stretch your toes. Flex the foot all the way over. Leg touches down to the right side. Lift up, lengthen forward, and then curve, C shape. This is another one. Does it feel different, left to right? A little bit. Sometimes you can feel a little sensation in the hip. Back through center. And then touch down. Sink hips to heels. Fingertips forward. Forehead to the earth. Big breath in. Exhale out. And take one more like that. On your inhale, roll all the way back up. Set your hands slightly forward over the shoulders. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips, but keep your knees bent. Feel that length in your spine. So feel the side waist lengthening and the arms stabilizing. And then one heel at a time, squeeze to the earth. And you can just start pedaling your heels. So you feel a nice stretch in the backs of your legs, and then any movements that feel good. So let this be what you need today. It's your practice. And then find stillness in your downward facing dog. Roll your elbows under. Squeeze your heels toward the earth. Belly button draws in. Find your eye gaze somewhere between your ankles. Let your head hang. No effort on your neck. And then look forward. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. Bend your knees deep. This probably looks familiar. I think I do this every class. Let your chest connect with your thighs. Find any movements here. So the goal of this is to release your spine, release any tension, and just kind of reverse gravity. This is an inversion. This totally counts. So if you think handstand is the only way you can get upside down, you are mistaken. Anytime your heart is over your head, your inversion. And then bring your hands to your shins. Keep your knees bent. Send your hips back as your heart reaches forward. Feel grounded in the feet. Arms reach out. Come all the way up to standing. Palms press. Exhale, hands to heart. Open Tadasana. Set the feet. Let the heart reach forward. Big breath in. Big breath out. Yeah, just feel grounded. Slow flow. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, knees bend as much as you need. Take the modified version to start. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into plank. And then bring your knees down to the earth. Hug your elbows in as you lower your chest and your chin. And then inchworm forward, baby cobra. Elbows hug your sides. Heart lifts with the strength of your back. And then press up through table, curl your toes, lift your hip. Press back, downward facing dog. So start to feel a little more settled in your downward facing dog. This is your home base. And at any time, if you need to drop your knees, come back into child's pose, come back into stillness, you can do that. One more breath in. Full breath out. Look forward, walk or step your feet to the top of your mat. Knees bent if you need, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise, long spine, palms press, hands to heart. And then open Tadasana. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Lengthen halfway, fingertips to the floor or hands to shins. Step back, plank, knees or toes, bend your elbows. I'm taking the modified version. Hug your elbows to your sides. Inhale, rise, baby cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Quiet the mind by focusing on the breath. One more breath. Exhale all the way. Look forward, soften the knees, step or walk to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway, exhale, fold. Press into the floor, inhale, sweep up. Hands to heart, and release arms by your sides. Next round, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant hands. Step back into plank. Knees or toes, lower slow. Hug your elbows to your sides. Inhale to rise. Oh, that's hard today. Exhale, press back. It might be modified version for me for the rest of the day. One more breath. Full exhale. Look forward, soften knees, step or walk, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up, rise, palms press, hands to heart, open Tadasana. 2 more rounds with a little variation. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant hands. Step back. Knees or toes. No shame in modifying. Lift up, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. From here, look forward. Step your right foot to your hands. Keep that left hand grounded. Right arm opens up, coming into a twist. If you need to drop that back knee, you can, if you need to feel more stable. And if the left knee is lifted, squeeze into the left heel and reach the crown of your head away from it. Hug your front knee into your chest. Big breath in, big breath out. A little bit more rotation. Yeah, so good. I'm feeling this in my hip. I don't know about you. Exhale, hands touch down. Bend that back leg, step forward. Lengthen halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale to rise. Palms press. Exhale, hands to heart. Open wide. One more. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge. Lengthen. Exhale, plant hands, step back, knees or toes, lower, and rise. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Right away, look forward. Left foot steps forward this time. Right hand stays grounded right underneath your shoulder. Left arm opens up, twist. Keep that left knee hugging in toward your chest. Almost like They're magnetically attracted, knee to chest. If that right knee is straight, squeeze into the heel. But you can always bring that right knee down to bring that rotation a little more into the chest. Find the stability. One more inhale. As you exhale, rotate just a little bit more. Like you could spin your heart to the ceiling. And then exhale. Slowly frame that front foot. Right knee bends. Step between your hands. Lengthen halfway, knees bent as much as you need. Forward fold. Press into the feet. Long spine brings you all the way up to standing. Hands to heart. Open Tadasana. Whew, give it a shake. So, what if we do that one more time with breath? Just to get the heart pumping. Rita's giving me the face. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant hands. Flow through a vinyasa your way. Knees or toes. Downward facing dog. The minute you get into that shape, look forward, right foot steps, left hand stays down, come into that twist again. Just 2 big breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, spin your heart to the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, spin. Touchdown. Left knee bends, step between your hands, lengthen halfway. Forward fold. Big sweep. Inhale. Hands to heart. Maybe feeling like some life is coming back into your body, into your spine. One more round. Sweep up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands plant. Step back. Flow your way. Downward facing dog. Find that shape. And then look forward. Left foot steps between your hands. Right hand stays grounded. Left arm reaches to the ceiling. Big breath in. Lengthen crown away from heel. And then as you exhale, rotate heart to the ceiling. One more just like that. Expand, reach long, and rotate. Squeeze all your breath out. Come all the way back down. Hands frame that front foot. Right knee bends. Step between your hands. Lengthen and fold. Press into the feet. Sweep up. Exhale. Hands to heart. Open Tadasana. So feet about, well, big toes to touch actually. Feeling a little bit more stable. So your heels are slightly apart, so the borders of your feet are in line with your mat. Bend your knees and sweep up into a chair pose. And just notice your knees. Just for no other reason. Just notice your knees. Hey, I have knees. No. See the tops of your toes as you bend your knees. And then lower the hips a little bit more as you lift through the chest. Gentle twist to start. So bring your hands to your heart and feel that length in your spine. So as though you could stretch from here to here. Woo! Just make your torso a little bit longer. And then take your left hand to the outside of the right knee. That right arm opens out. So as you do that, look down at your knees. Is your left knee forward of your right knee? Pull it back. Glue the knees together. Lift up through the spine and then rotate. Oh yeah. So your belly button to spine will support the twist. And then the legs are your foundation. And then exhale, come back through center and touch down. Hands frame the feet, let's see, where am I going? Left leg steps back. That's where I'm going. Lower the back knee down. If you need to pad the knee with a blanket, you can do that. So walk the toes forward so that your ankle is directly underneath your knee, at least. Or if you know you have a lot of space in your hip flexor and you like to come forward, walk the toes forward a little bit more. Your hips are square to the top of your mat, and then come up. Press into that front foot a lot. This is your low lunge Anjaneyasana. Pull that right hip back a little bit and lift up through the chest. So your hands at your front leg are stabilizing. Big breath in. Big breath out. Push into the floor with that front foot. And then take your left hand to your knee. Find that twist again. Notice a theme. So anytime you have low back issues, like I am right now, because I've been doing a lot of work, twists and hip openers are your secret weapon. And then touch down. Hands frame that front foot. Slide the hips back just a little bit. And then what you're doing is walking your front foot all the way over to the left, and you're coming down into a pigeon pose hip stretch. Yeah, to the left side. And then what you can do, I will turn this way so you can see what I'm doing. Have your blanket handy. So when you come down, so you're in your lunge, and then you walk the toes over. And that might be really intense for the hip. So you can actually bend both knees in 90-degree angles. So the left knee kind of aims to the left, the right knee kind of aims to the right. And then you can just bring your hands in front of the shin, and you lower to your degree with a straight spine. So if you have space in that hip, and you want to turn, that left hip comes forward, so both hip points are square with the top of your mat, and as you turn, that right hip is probably going to lift. That's where your blanket or your pillow comes in to support you. So you can be comfortable in this shape. And then once you get in, let's see, I'm probably too far forward here. Take a peek at your back leg. You want your hip, your knee, and your ankle all in one line. And then that left hip keeps pulling forward. So your shoulders and your hips are square with the front of your mat. You can have your heel closer in for a gentler version, or you can open that leg out a little bit more for torture. No, not today. Lift up through the chest. So what usually happens when people come into pigeon is they just immediately kind of flop to the ground. But if you align yourself properly, it should be intense without even really doing much. But then if you have space, then you can come down, forearms to the ground. Keep that right foot flexed, and maybe take your eye gaze between your hands. If you want a little more, take your right hand to the floor, just to the outside of your knee. Lengthen, so crown reaches away from that back heel, and then press into the floor. So there's a rotation. This is like pure torture for me right now. This is needed. This is why I picked this one. I'm not going to be able to walk after this class, I'll tell you that. When you're ready, come all the way back, walk your hands forward or back toward your knee, tuck your back toes, pick up the front leg, and send it back. So you're coming into a downward facing dog. And then from here, you can do any movements. You can take this opportunity and move your prop. And don't worry about if your down dog is in alignment. This is just a counter shape to release that hip stretch. Yeah, so do what feels good. You can even do some circles, three-legged dog. If you feel called to here, you can roll forward into plank and flow through a vinyasa. And then from here, squeeze your left heel, right leg reaches back, three-legged dog. This time, bend your knee with intention and stack your knee over your hip. Your right shoulder rolls down. The more your knee opens to the left. And then knee to nose. Hug your leg in, flex your foot, step forward, touch that back heel down. You're windmilling up, so sweep up with that left arm, coming into a warrior two. Sink deep, and maybe take the legs a little bit wider. Just notice what space you need to create for this shape. Nudge that front knee out, and then pull the hip back. Lift up through the front body, and anchor down through the back body. Send your eye gaze forward. Big breath in. Exhale, go a little bit deeper. And then flip that front palm, reach back, reverse your warrior. With intention, forget what your legs are doing. Let this be a really nice stretch for your side waist. Maybe go a little bit deeper. And then send the fingertips high. Keep the upper body where it is. Just straighten the front leg. And then slowly reach forward. Arms parallel, engage the legs, and you're coming forward into a triangle. So wherever your hand feels comfortable right now. If you're tight, you can have your hand at your shin or a block, maybe your ankle, maybe your big toe, but keep the legs really active. Left fingertips reach to the ceiling and rotate your heart. Take your eye gaze to your left thumb. Let that left hand pull you all the way back up. Take your hands to your hips. Pull that back foot in just a little bit. Turn so that you're in sort of a crescent lunge, so the back heel is lifted. Arms reach up. And then hands touch down to the inside. You're lowering your back knee down, coming into a lizard lunge. So if you have space in your hip flexor and you know that you're going to go low, walk the toes out, yeah. And then glue the knee to your shoulder. Lift up through the chest. First variation. So this is all we're doing. Just actively. How's that feel? Good job. And just let it feel good. And then tuck the toes under, lift up. Toe heel the front foot out so you can get your hands a little bit wider underneath your shoulders and step back, downward facing dog. Your option is to stay here, bring the knees down, child's pose, or roll forward and flow. So just know where you are today in your body, this little house that you walk around in. Look between your hands, bend your knees, walk or step to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, open wide. Take the big toes to touch, heels open out. So you're coming back into that chair pose. Bend your knees back from the tops of your toes, and then lift up. Send your shoulders back away from your ears. Sink a little bit deeper. And just gaze at your toes. Maybe try lifting the toes. Awesome. Right hand to the outside of the left knee. Left arm opens out. Take a peek at your toes and your knees especially. If that right knee is popping out, pull it back. Knees in. Glue the knees together. Let it be your foundation, and then lift up through your spine. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, lengthen. That was like a command, wasn't it? Exhale, rotate. I'm hurting today. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, touch down. This time, your right foot steps back, and you lower the back knee down. You know the way. If you need to walk the toes out in your low lunge, you can do that. And then press into that left foot a lot. Walk the hands up to the top knee. Press strong into the left foot. Lift up through the chest. Left hip pulls back. Right hip presses forward. Send the shoulders back. Find that nice strong foundation, and then right hand to the outside of the left knee. Find that twist again. So the lower body acts as your foundation, your stabilizer. One more. Exhale. Come back. So we're coming into that pigeon again. Shift the hips up. Find your blanket or your pillow. Walk the toes, toe heel, all the way to the right side of your mat. Thanks. You've been practicing with me long enough that you know when I'm like stuck. So once you come down, if you know that your hips are tight and you want to keep the legs at 90 degrees, you come forward. You can even kind of bring them in a little bit closer and bring the elbows down toward the shin. And you can even use this sort of like as your primer. Just get that stretch going. And then when you feel ready to square the hips to the front, and that left hip starts to raise, bring your blanket underneath your hip. Yeah. There you go. And then bring the blanket right underneath, prop it up. Yeah. And then you look at that back leg. The leg is nice and long. Keep pulling the right hip forward. Flex the left foot and keep the chest lifted. You can stay here or you can walk forward. Hands or forearms down. Active through your arms and your front body. So you're dragging your elbows and the forearms back toward your hips to keep your heart moving forward. If you want more, the face again. Left hand underneath your shoulder, right to the outside of your knee. Press down as you rotate. Keep a long spine so that right elbow is still pulling back toward your hip. So it's almost like this one's pulling back and this one's pressing down. So as you pull back, you're getting length, and as you press down, you're getting that rotation. Does that make sense? You're feeling it. So when you get this, when you're getting that sensation, the rotation, you're going to feel it here. The pulling back and the pressing, you're going to feel it even more in that hip. So you're going to feel it on both sides. So this is one of those where you've got the hip and the twist. That'll help with the lower back if you have any sort of stuckness in your lower back. And then when you've had enough, you can come back through neutral. But be active in the arms. Give it just 2 more breaths. As that exhale, full release of tension, and then walk the hands back toward the knee. Tuck the toes. Lift up. Press back. Move your prop. Find any movements. Notice the difference between left and right. Then squeeze your right heel down. Left leg reaches back. 3-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your hip, but keep that left shoulder rolling in. So shoulders stay level. Beautiful. Glue your knee to your chest. Step forward between your hands. Lower the back heel down. Lead with the right arm. Windmill up. Find your warrior 2. Nudge that front knee out. Lift up through the chest. Maybe if you need to go wider to get that depth, just take the feet a little bit wider. Stabilizing. Then the upper body just feels light. Flip that palm, reach back. Let it be a nice opener for the ribs. Go a little bit deeper. Send the fingertips away from that front leg. And then straighten slowly. Come up. Open the arms out. Bring your hands to your hips. Step in just a little bit. Engage the legs. Shift forward. Find your triangle. Use the breath. So as you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, rotate. As you inhale, send every point away from itself. So the hand grows a little bit more toward the ceiling, the feet dig deeper into the ground, and the head and the hips stretch away from each other. Just imagine taking up space. Let that right hand pull you all the way back up. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn that back heel. Sweep the arms up. So you're finding that crescent lunge sort of shape. And then come all the way down. Hands to the inside of that front foot. Lower the back knee down. Lizard lunge again. Hands underneath your shoulders to the inside. And you're just feeling that rotation of the hips. Nothing more. Keep the length in your spine, the elbows roll under, and the heart comes forward. So without going deeper, see if you can intensify the stretch by pulling the elbows back and just finding a little more rotation in the hips. They're almost like nothing really visible, but still really active. And then toe heel that front foot out. Take your hands a little bit wider. Tuck the toes. And then step back. Downward facing dog. Stay here or roll forward. Find your Vinyasa if you choose. And maybe tuck the toes or the knees down. Find child's pose. And just find your breath again. Breathe into your low back. Breathe into the hips. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your hips, press back, downward facing dog. Look forward, bend your knees, walk or step to the top of your mat, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up, rise, palms press. Hands to your heart, open Tadasana. So slight variation to start this next flow. Starting the same way, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, sink down into your chair pose. So if you're feeling open, you can take a prayer twist variation, or you can stay with the left hand to the outside of the right knee and take the first variation. So your choice. Hands to heart, lengthen through your spine, sink a little bit deeper, and then bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And you might even manually lengthen through your spine. And then just notice your knees. If your left knee is coming forward, yeah, pull it back. Here's your challenge. Step strong into that right leg. Are you ready for it? The left leg steps back. So you're coming into a revolved side angle. Yeah, and then press strong into that back leg. Lift up through the chest. And then release. Hands touch down. Step back, downward facing dog. Option here, you can roll forward and flow through a vinyasa or hold downward facing dog. Right away, right leg reaches back. Squeeze into that left heel. Bend your knee, open your hip. This might feel a little more open now. And then bring your knee to your chest, around your spine, step forward, touch down. Windmill all the way up, left arm leads. Find your warrior two, sink down. Here's your challenge if you want. So nudge that front knee open so you can see your big toe from the inside. Lift up through the chest, and if you have space, lift the heel. Go a little bit deeper. Little extra stabilization for the foot and the ankle. And then flip the front palm. That's hard to say. Reach back. Heel lifted or touch down. Touch the heel down if it's lifted. Straighten that front leg, leaving the upper body where it is. And then come forward. Long spine, legs engaged. Find your triangle again. Maybe you go a little bit deeper. Rotate. So isometric movements. Press the feet into the ground. Lengthen the crown of your head away from your lower back. And then rotate your heart to the ceiling. See if you can stretch that left hand to touch the ceiling. Left hand pulls you all the way back up. Bring your hands to your hips. Step in just a little bit. Square the hips to the front. Find your crescent lunge again. So feet are about hip width distance. Lift up through the chest. Exhale, touch down. Find that lizard again. So stay in this first variation if you want. If you want to come lower, you can bring your hands or your elbows, forearms to the ground. Or if you want a different shape, hits a different angle, toe heel that front foot out, and then angle the toes to a 45. You're staying grounded on your hands. Lift up through the chest, and then you're finding a nice twist. Right hand. Yeah. If you're taking that twist, I would bring your hand back down. Yeah, so you're lifted up. A little bit more space. And then if you have a little bit more space, you can hinge that back leg and catch the foot. Yeah, sometimes I need a little pad for this knee. It feels okay today. Yeah. If you haven't stretched your quads in a while, this may bring tears to your eyes. This is a good one, though. It'll get that. It'll definitely get that muscle group. And then come all the way back down. Flex the foot, tuck the toes, lift the hips up. Oh, it's going to feel like something broke. And then step back, downward facing dog. Stay here or flow. Whatever you need to counter that stretch, whatever feels good. Big breath in. Big breath out. And take one more. Look between your hands, step or walk to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Hands to your heart, open to Tadasana. Big toes to touch. Last round. Sink down into your chair. I'm actually going to turn this way this time. So your choice, if you want, right hand to the outside of the left leg or prayer twist. Big inhale to lengthen your spine. Belly button draws in. And then as you exhale, rotate. Exhaling releases the air and all that space that your lungs hold to give you room for the twist. Take a peek at your knees. Sink the hips. Lengthen through the spine. Stack the elbows. Bring all of your weight into your left foot. Don't even think about it. Step right leg back. Oh, so good. Press into the ball of the foot. Press back into the heel. Take your feet a little bit wider. Yeah, there you go. Nice stable posture. And then touch the hands down. Bring that left leg back. Downward facing dog. If you want, flow through a vinyasa. And just feel how good that feels. Downward facing dog as a rest pose. Left leg reaches back. Bend your knee, open your hip. And then knee to nose. Step long, step forward, lower the back heel down, right arm leads, find your warrior two. Set your foundation first, nudge that front knee out, and then if you want, lift the heel. Flip that front palm, reach back, stretch. Touch the heel down, straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Come forward, and then lower into your triangle. Legs engaged. Set your eye gaze to that top thumb and rotate. Right hand pulls you all the way back up, hands to your hips. Step in just a little bit, turn into your crescent lunge, arms reach. Exhale, touch down. Lizard lunge, back knee touches down. Shoulders, hands underneath your shoulders. Pause here. If you want, you can bring your forearms down, but still gluing the knee into your shoulder and the toes reach forward. Or if you want to try that Radha Krishnasana, toe heel the front foot out, 45-degree angle on the toes, lengthen through your spine, left hand to your left knee, and rotate. You can even press that knee out just a little bit. Press down into that right hand. Find length in your spine, and then if you can hinge that back leg without effort, catch the foot or the ankle and rotate even more. Yeah, this one's intense. Just bring your breath right into that sensation. This is good, though. If you're feeling this a lot, once you get out of this, you're going to walk a lot better. All right, hands touch down. Tuck the back toes under. Lift up through the hips. Step back, downward facing dog. One last opportunity, if you choose. Flow through a vinyasa. And then lower the knees down. Walk your knees between your hands, cross your ankles, come forward. So, some more dynamic hip openers. Yeah. With that reaction, yeah, I think we need them. Okay, so right leg under. Apparently I'm mirroring. If you need padding for your ankle bones, you might need a blanket just to support. Because sometimes if you're on the floor directly, yeah. So the wider you go with the knees, the less intense this is going to be. So ultimately, and I don't even know that I have this right now, because I have not been stretching, which, Yeah. So if you can't stack your shins, so ultimately you're stacking your shins and you've got ankle on top of knee and knee on top of ankle. Colonel's got it. He has really open hips. So you're almost coming into just like a modified lotus. So whatever, and you can even kind of tuck your foot right into the crook between your calf and your thigh, and then just one underneath. And then you can actively press that down. Sit tall, so you're anchoring through your sits bones. And then if you can, walk the hands forward. He's got some really open hips. I'm jealous of that. Does he work on it, or? Sometimes that means you're less flexible. That's awesome. Where do you get that flexibility? So, keep that right elbow connected, or I guess left. Did I say left? I don't know. The top, yeah, because I'm trying to mirror. So the left elbow connected, and then the right arm reaches. And then touch down. And then the other side. And then touch down. Lengthen even more, and then walk the hands out. So if you're not feeling like you want to just escape, yeah, this one is really intense. I'm like shaking. My foot is like, and then come all the way back up. All right, here we go. Sweet. Release. Touchdown. And just windshield wiper the legs. Really slow. Let it release. Oh God, I know. I'm not going to be able to walk after this. It's so needed though. I don't know what I did to my hip, but it is not happy lately. Yeah, so do this as long as you want, just to feel that release a little bit. And then when you're ready, it's to the other side. So whichever one, what did I have? Let's see. Yeah, so just switch the legs. And the wider the knees, and the same principle of pigeon. So if you have your heels closer in, it's going to lessen the intensity. So if you just sit sort of in a cross-leg half lotus, that will be a lot less intense than the fire log. Stacking shins. Holy cow. Colonel, you should be up here demonstrating. That's a beautiful fire log pose. All right, lift up through your chest. Press that knee down. So you're just acclimating yourself to the shape. And just notice, if you're really tight and tense, you might be clenching. You might be just unconsciously clenching in your hip joints. So see if you can bring the breath into that and release. And then walk the hands forward. Keep the spine long. Lift up through the chest. So another little isometric movement. So if you're rounding your spine, it's almost like cheating. You're not going to get as intense. And then if you just lift the heart forward, it feels it so much more. So the hand closest to the knee stays down. I guess left hand down. Right arm reaches back. Keep the feet flexed. Feet flexed protects your knee, keeping active in the shin. Come all the way back down. Right hand touches down, or left hand touches down, right arm reaches back. If this is torture, it just means you need it. Yep. I'm not enjoying this. So just to let you know. And then come all the way down. Yeah. Somebody in this room is enjoying this, I'm sure. Walk the hands out, send the heart forward. Drag the heels of the hands back. 5 big breaths. 4, 3, 2, last one. Walk the hands all the way back. Unwind. That's it. Windshield wiper the legs. Oh, God. And then if you want, take a nice couple rounds of breath and just see what your body needs to counter that. It might just be like collapsing onto the earth. And then when you're ready, start to roll all the way back down. Hug your knees in, rock from side to side. And we'll end the way we began. So supine bound angle, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet pressed together, knees open out. And then if you want, you can take your hands to the crease of the hip and just press your legs away from your head. So press the hips toward your feet. Feel that length in your spine and notice if you feel different than when you first arrived. Your arms are shaking. Working some strength. And take your arms to cross overhead. Just let your upper body release. Feel your front body expand outward. You can stay here, or you can find your way into Shavasana, classic expression. If you're moving into legs extended long, maybe take that knock knee pose again. And just let the lower back and sacrum release. Counter movement. And then finding yourself on your back in whatever shape you choose. Feel fully relaxed, fully released, refreshed. Come back to breath. And as you breathe and notice, if you find any static, any tension lingering, use your breath to release it. And just as you are, take a deep breath in through your nose. Gather anything that remains, and then release. As you reconnect with your breath, start to invite some movements in your fingers and toes. And letting those movements become anything they need to be in order to come back into your physical body. When you're ready, hug your knees into your chest once more. And then roll to one side. Curl into a little ball. Let this be your re-emergence for the day, your rebirth. Keeping your eyes closed, pressing yourself back into a seated position. Bringing your hands to your heart center. Bow your head. Take a deep breath into your heart space. Let it out. And then we can close with the sound of Om. You can join or listen. Another big breath into your heart. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Bow your head deeply. And sending peace and gratitude. Thank you so much. Namaste. Thanks for coming. Yeah.